I've told you why I love As Told by Ginger due to its dark, realistic, and compelling themes. From divorce to friendship drama to even depression, it knew how to engage and educate its teen audience. There is one character, however, that I want to bring up, one who is different mentally but who is still so likable, that being Macy Lightfoot. To me, it appears that Macy has some kind of neurodivergent aspect to her life, although I'm not 100% certain that it is autism spectrum disorder. I will run down the facts and explain what I mean, though. Macy's figure is rather small. She speaks with a snorting lisp. She is mostly shy and isolative around other people than the two main girls, but she is consistently highly intelligent, in fact, taking a high school level French class with Courtney. The thing that's the arguable catalyst for her neurodivergence is the parental abandonment that she suffers from, specifically in the episode Family Therapy, wherein for her 13th birthday, her parents, who are in a big twist of irony, therapists, fail to celebrate it with her. When Ginger and Dodie go to their office to confront them about their mistake, the parents are indeed heartbroken upon realizing that they actively abandoned over half their daughter's potential milestone, and they decide to, well, overcompensate. What ends up happening is that they end up infantilizing Macy to make up for all those missed years, and shockingly, this is played exclusively for drama. It's not made light of like, let's say, Cat from Victorious, and that's its own can of worms. Anyway, Ginger becomes concerned about how Macy's parents are treating her, but Dodie says that Macy's still happy, and that should be what matters. But Ginger feels that Macy is not being properly fulfilled. Eventually, Macy comes to her senses and realizes while it was fun while it lasted, she needs to be a teenager now. This is accompanied by Ginger's gift of an explicitly teenage shirt. What I can take from this is that her parents' neglect after so many years results in Macy having constant doubts about her surroundings, about her self-image. Given that this has happened at such an early age, it is no surprise that Macy really tends to cling to her most trusted peers when isolated from others. Her emotional fragility is quite prevalent in this episode, especially when it was the 13th birthday to be neglected, given that her parents are, well, therapists. I feel like they should be not only more alert for their daughter, but to actively learn from their mistakes if they misguided other people. Macy's insecurities are significant here, and it shows. When she is wrongfully happy, though, it's especially sad to see because she longed for it forever. I'm naturally still proud of her standing up at the end, though, since she needed to act on her own volition. While growing up can make you decide good things, there are times when it gets especially hard to learn of such changes. In the episode Gym Class Confidential, everyone is shown a puberty video, and most are indeed nervous, but Macy is so petrified that she actively evades it. I understand Macy's reluctance to accept these adolescent changes, but she has to face it sooner or later. Even Miranda calls her out on this because it's all part of life. Macy, though, just relapses by singing a song from an episode that will be discussed next. This is somewhat of a case in infantilization here, but it's more on the line of where do I stand? Where do I go? What am I meant to be? She feels that she can't grow up right, but the other girls assure her that they'll see the video together, and the worst that happens, they'll get sickened together. They do, and they are all indeed disgusted. Even Courtney, who vomits on Miranda's shoes, and Macy runs out and Ginger promptly follows her. And she reveals that she was feeling all along that they'd grow apart, which turns out to be just what Macy was afraid of. And sure enough, they hug it out and all is well. Macy's neurodivergence is present here because she is overthinking the worst consequences of the changes of life. She believes that not only would she be unhappy with her eventual body, but the connection with her friends will be gone. The fact that she was attempting regressing from this shows even more uncertainty and even pessimism. So Macy really was having many mental issues here. This stuff is difficult to process for those with ADHD, autism, or especially anxiety disorder. I do stand by her initial reluctance, but she once again resolves the situation by accepting how she can/will change for the better physically and personally. The last episode that I want to discuss for Macy is Little Seal Girl. In this story, for the school talent show, the girls want to plan an act together, and the one that they've done for years was the titular seal dance. Ginger and Dodie, however, feel that they've outgrown it. and that they should try a more compelling act. Macy disagrees, though, because the act is so personally connected to her. Eventually, she shows up to the girls with her very own seal costume, as in made all by herself. This likely alludes to a potential strength in sewing or costume design. Neurodivergence has its strengths, after all. The other girls still turn her down, but Macy decides to go solo. The night of the talent show, Macy performs on her own, but the music wears out, so she sings it herself. Despite a few moments of hesitation, the audience grows so compelled by her act that they not only love it, but she wins the award. What I really want to bring up here is that it amazes me that Macy wanted to do something true to herself regardless of the thoughts of others. Macy's still stuck on something from her childhood, but it's so personal to her that she wants everyone else to know why it's all hers. All of ASD and neuro people like myself connect well to what made our child special. Although sticking to it may ruin our chances of becoming better people, we can find a way to use it to our advantage and still make new friends. She doesn't even have a significant stage fright when performing, so she truly wanted everyone to know how she's different. She does, although, feel insecurity when she contemplates how she broke the girls' trust, but they commend her for breaking out of her shell, and they celebrate together. From what I can gather, I'm suspecting Macy may just have some kind of anxiety disorder after all, due to her insecurity about growing up, which should have otherwise been supported by therapists, even if they weren't her parents. She also clings onto her childhood very strongly and lets it express herself rather than doing something to actively please people. Her fear of growing up is also quite significant as she attempts to relapse to numb the pain. She is very emotionally fragile, but is still smart enough to advocate for herself amidst the struggles. Macy has a strong representation of neurodivergence, and I'm happy to support her. Meanwhile, there's another character worth bringing up, and she's substantially younger but still serves a purpose in this animated show. Noelle, aka Carl's girlfriend, who is voiced by the creator herself, Emily Kapnick, displays a very different set of mental skills and special strengths. In her first appearance, the B-plot of And She Was Gone, Carl is initially dismissive of her with her interest in kung fu, as well as how she plays with finger puppets and food at lunch. He makes a solemn wish to have Noelle disappear, and to his shock, she does. Well, not really. But nevertheless, Carl regrets his wish as he grows attached to how different Noelle is, and eventually he finds her by the playground, talking in an underwater voice, and their eyes meet and they become friends. Noelle is shown to have made her own language and perspective and is happy with how things may turn out, wherever they may be. She does what she wants. She knows what she really wants to pursue. And we'll see that in their next story, the B-plot of the New School 3-parter, we learn that Noelle, in fact, has the gift of telekinesis, which both Carl and Hootsie are fascinated by, so much so that Carl treats Noelle as his slave to use her telekinesis to all of his advantage. She quickly sees through him and Lynn leaves, but Carl is oblivious. However, when Carl discovers that she's been selected for an audition for some dance contest, he runs over to inform Noelle and they cheer in a semi-romantic fashion. The thing about the contest, though, is that you need an adult chaperone, so Hootsie disguises himself to help her qualify. This is where things get weird. When Hootsie is lacking confidence in his ability to appear manly for her, she full-on kisses him. Naturally, Carl is envious about this. Days later, Noelle privately talks to Hootsie about Carl's negative behavior, but he catches them and splits them off. They prepare for the contest while Carl isolates himself on a bus that's about to head out of town. After consideration, Noelle decides that she can't be in the contest without him, so they run after the bus, but it's too late as she tries to use her telekinesis to get it back, only to reach the tires behind it, and it turns out that Carl has already run off anyhow. So they end up pursuing him. They run to an ice lake where Carl is about to fall in, but she uses her great powers to rescue him out of the freezing water. So great that she passes out from the huge exhaustion, but he quickly revives Noelle with his love for her, and all is good. A lot to take in from this, but from what I can gather, Noelle has an arguable case of savant syndrome because she has an exceptionally great skill that practically no one else would have, let alone achieve, and she even knows how to be responsible with it. However, what she wasn't quite responsible with was her initial relationship with Carl, and that she was inconsiderate of his feelings in her attempt to give Hoodsie his own courage. Despite her grandness of telekinesis, she appears to be unable to identify social consequences for her actions, and impulsivity is common in neurodivergent people. Nevertheless, Noelle, being an arguable self-insert for Emily, is a cute and compelling young girl who aspires and wants to use her powers as well towards anyone. She and Carl make a cute couple after all. So yeah, I feel neurodivergence is depicted positively in the show with these two girls, and it's done quite well. Thanks for watching.